What up? 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 I still got what ups in the building. What's going on? Brooklyn Bears and Ball Sports Show. We here. It's a late edition, but we're still here. It's about 9 a.m. exactly. Not 9 a.m. You see how late it is? I don't even know what time of the day it is, but it's 9 p.m. East Coast. We're rocking. It's 6 p.m. Pacific time if you're on the West Coast. And it's your boy ROD, Brooklyn Bears and Ball. We're in the building, but it's only one beer today, and that's just myself, all right? Don is not here today. Our resident Philly, all things Philly, Scrap is not in the building today, so it is just yours truly here in the building today. Listen, it's been a minute since I've done a live, and it's been a minute since I've done anything, but we are here in the building nevertheless. So, guys, listen, come on in, comment. If you're able to watch the show, come on and watch it. We're going to have a quick one today. I just want to talk about some things as it relates to the NFL season. We're now 6 games coming into the 7th week, and a lot of interesting things. What's good, Ken? My boy, what's going on, bro? Briggs is in the building, East New York, Brooklyn, all day. Brooklyn Bears and Ball, that's what we call ourselves. We are here in the building. Good to see you. Briggs is a Niner fan. We are going to talk about the Niners, of course, because here at Brooklyn Bears and Ball, that's what we talk about, the Cowboys, the Niners, and we talk about the Philadelphia Feebles as well in honor of our boy Scrap, who also has been an integral part of our show, by the way. Shout out to Scrap. Shout out to Big Don in their absence. So I'm holding it down for Dolo tonight. And we're just going to quickly jump into it. I don't have a lot of bells and whistles. Don is the one that's controlling the boards a lot of time. He's giving you all the little images and videos and all that stuff, trying to make jokes of my Cowboys. But listen, the way we're playing right now, we need no assistance at all. But listen, I'm just coming straight raw, no gimmicks, no videos, no images. It's just your boy Rod, and we're going to talk a little bit of sports tonight. But listen, we got a lot of breaking news going on. A lot is happening. As we know, in the NFL, we have some big trades. As we know, of course, Amari Cooper being traded from the Cleveland Browns to the Buffalo Bills. We all know that he got traded for a third-round pick. You know, it's interesting, and Don had sent something earlier, and I had already seen this, but he was showing me something earlier how the Cowboys, when we traded Amari Cooper from Dallas to Cleveland, we traded him for a 5th-round pick, okay? Now Buffalo gets actually a 3rd-round pick, 2 picks higher 3 years later. So the man is more in a decline in his performance, and Buffalo was able to get Cleveland rather was able to get more for Amari than what Dallas did. Now, let me put that in context, though, because a lot of people don't realize and understand. But the truth is, with Dallas and Jerry Jones, Amari Cooper fell out of favor with the Cowboys. Jerry just wanted him out of there. He didn't want no parts of Amari Cooper. He was tight with him because of the injuries that he was having, not really, stepping up to play in the big moments. That was during the 1 year during the COVID season. He didn't want to get shots, and then he missed the game because of that. So look, and then he wanted to just get rid of that contract that he gave him anyhow. I don't necessarily think it was a bad contract. I actually thought Amari Cooper played well with the Cowboys when he was with us. And I thought he took Dak's game to the next level. But nevertheless, he gets to Cleveland. He did have a couple 1,000-yard seasons, but his numbers have declined. Is Amari Cooper still at number 1? Well, in Buffalo, he will be, because Coleman has not stepped up yet to be that guy. They got a couple of nice pieces. I like Kincaid. I think he's a beast. I like him. You know what I mean? But they just don't. Amari Cooper will give them still another weapon that they can use. I mean, he's not a high-level number 1, but he's still a number 1, and he's still very productive. And again, like I said, he had 1,000 yards the last 2 seasons with Cleveland. So Amari can still produce, okay? So at the end of the day, it was a good trade. It was some talks and reports that Buffalo was actually trying to go for Devante Adams, but due to the contract situation, I don't think they want to take on too much of his salary, and so they just didn't have it in the cards to do from a cap size perspective, and therefore they ended up settling and getting Amari Cooper. I think it's a good trade. Actually, I think it's really good for Buffalo, right? More weapons. I mean, Josh Allen in himself is a beast. You have the 2 running backs that played last night for them, who looked really, really well against the Jets. Okay, Cook was out, but their back stepped up. They really did. They had a nice running attack. And Buffalo has a really good blocking scheme. I think Joe Brady is still their play caller there, and he's really calling some nice. He's got a really good run scheme going on. Really good. I love the zone blocks. They got the pin and pull. They do a lot of interesting things in their run game. And I think adding Cooper to Buffalo is a nice addition for them. So they got a nice, solid running game. Their defense is still a lot to be desired, but obviously Cooper's going to try to, buttress and reinforce their offense. So that's what he's there for. So look, that's what we got today. That's a big trade, I felt, in a way. We knew that was going to come. They're trying to really overhaul, and Cleveland is probably going to go through what I imagine is some kind of rebuilding. It's going to start with Deshaun Watson being up out of there at some point. They can't move him, obviously, because of his contract. So there's no way they can move him. But I think at some point, the owners are just going to say, look, we're going to just have to make a tough decision, take an L on this investment, and we're going to just have to go another way and see what we got and start reevaluating the quarterback situation from a more serious perspective. Because I like Stefanski. I think he's a good coach, coach of the year a couple of times. I think he can do it. I think he's great. But at the end of the day, they got to make some changes. So nevertheless, the other big trade is Devante Adams. Okay, Devante Adams, as we know, he went and, got back with his little boyfriend, Aaron Rodgers, over there in New York. And look, Devante, I think he played himself anyway. Look, you chased the bag. You left Green Bay. Now, just imagine, had you stayed in Green Bay, you would have had Jordan Love as your quarterback, right? You would have still been a top-level receiver. I don't know if Devante is still that guy anymore. I think that still remains to be seen because of the poor quarterback play in Vegas. So I don't think a lot of people are going to hold it against Devante for not being the caliber of receiver he was when he was in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. We think that magic can kind of come back again, if you will, now that he's in New York. But he needs a quarterback. And some receivers just need good quarterback play. I mean, right? I don't know. Jerry Rice had Joe Montana and Steve Young. Michael Irvin had Troy Aikman, right? You can go down a list of great receivers that have played in this game, and they were beneficial, because they've had some really decent or great quarterback play, right? Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison, right? They, Randy Moss, could be, obviously he had a couple years there with Brady. But Dante Culpepper wasn't a bad quarterback. He also had Warren Moon in the early part of his career. So, he's played with some good quarterback play. You need a quarterback, to throw the ball to a receiver. And the receiver is only going to be as good as the quarterback, honestly. I mean, look what we see in Pittsburgh, right? I mean, Pickens is a really good receiver, but he just don't have the quarterback play. And I understand that. And I believe that Russell Wilson is going to get the start this Sunday for Pittsburgh. But that's either here nor there. Going back to the trade, Devante now, he goes to the Jets, okay? And the Raiders, they get a conditional third-round pick, okay? It could go to a 2, and it's conditional based on performance of Devante Adams. And if Adams looks good, then you know what? That pick will increase for them, and they will have more of a benefit for them. But when we look at this trade, I think that my opinion, this trade is a good trade for the Jets. I really do believe it. It's an all-in trade. Obviously, Woody Johnson, who fired Robert Saleh, who I thought that was a little bit undeserving. Okay, but what I do like that they still demoted, their play caller, the one that Aaron Rodgers wanted to bring over from Denver, and he was just completely putrid, just rancid as a coach, and he's bad as an OC. Now, they had a really good thing in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers was able to win a couple of MVPs under his play calling and offensive installments, but at the end of the day, he hasn't been looking good at all in New York, or New Jersey rather, because I don't give the Jets and Giants to New Jersey teams. Okay, they're not New York teams. Okay, they play in Jersey. That's a whole other state. The Dallas Cowboys don't even play in Dallas. They're in Arlington, but at least they're in the state. Okay, they're under the same governor. Okay, New Jersey is a whole nother state. I'm just going back because it's just me today, so I'm just kind of flowing here. New Jersey's a whole nother state. Okay, so they're not the New York Giants. The only New York team in the NFL is Buffalo. Okay, and even Buffalo, no one considers upstate New York, New York. All right, that's more Canada. That's just upstate. We don't even say upstate New York. We just say that's upstate. Okay, because Upstate ain't New York. Okay, if you ain't in the boroughs, you ain't in New York. Simple as that. I don't care who don't like it. It's Brooklyn Bears and Ball. Thank you, Briggs, because you already know. Okay, so that's it in a nutshell. So the New Jersey Jets, as they are the New Jersey Giants, who both share a home, which is whack in itself. You know what I'm saying? Again, that's just stupidity to have two teams. You tell me what, these guys can't just get their own stadium. Why can't the Jets just get their own stadium? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. But nevertheless, they're New Jersey, okay? They're not New York. They're New Jersey. So anyway, but the New Jersey Jets, I do think, come off with this trade in the positive because, look, Aaron Rodgers is not having any success with Mike Williams. Mike Williams looks bad. I mean, really bad. He's got, 12 catches on the entire year. There's no chemistry between him and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers looks disgusted when he even has to throw him the ball. I mean, to even target him, he looks like he's mad. It's like, all right, go ahead, man. I'm going to try you and see what you do. Bad dropper over the middle. Yesterday, just they could not get on the same page. The pick at the end in the game against the Jets and Bills last night, that pick, I'm not going to blame Mike Williams on that because that was a bad throw by Aaron Rodgers. It really was. He had to find his way. He couldn't locate the ball, got turned around, and then the DB made a good play, and then that was it, lights out. So, but nevertheless, bringing Devante Adams back, or at least back with Rodgers, that's a good thing. I think it's going to help them. Chemistry will be there. He's got some chemistry with Lazard. And of course, obviously with Garrett, their number one plug. And I think Garrett is a great receiver. That boy is going to be really, really good. Really good. He's going to be top 5 practically his whole career. Okay. And if he can get good quarterback play, that's what he'll be. The Jets just not have that. And I think the Jets really, in my opinion, were just a couple of pieces away. They got the ball to Reese Hall last night. Reese was looking really good. He ran for over 100. Both receivers got over 100. The offense looked more fluid. They looked like they had more, just more pop to them. Of course, a lot of penalties in that game. That game was highly penalized. Bad penalties left and right. Poor Tyron Smith. That's our boy. We love him in Dallas. That's our future Hall of Famer left tackle. He's going in as a Cowboy. But Tyron, bro, you look bad. I think you need to hang it up. Like Zach Martin needs to hang it up too in Dallas as well, man. Y'all are Hall of Famers, bro. Don't go out like that. Let this be your last year, bro. I think he only got a 1-year deal anyway. So, look, let it go. And in all honesty, he lost that game for them with that bad holding penalty. Wiped away the touchdown from the running back there that ran. I don't know his name. They got the touchdown there. I think he was a rookie, his first touchdown or whatever it was. But unfortunately, they had to wipe that away to settle for 3. And then ultimately, they couldn't prevail. They lose the game. So, again, I think this is a good look, though, for the Jets. Nevertheless, we'll see. They're back together again. He's supposed to play, that is, Adams, on Sunday. Of course, we know the injury he had in Vegas was fake. He was definitely fake deals, gaming all the way. We talk about the injury. Wasn't that. Raiders like, nah, you chill, you sit, all right, because we need to trade you now, and we need you healthy. That's all that was. He'll be out there running around like a deer, just, all agile and the whole 9. So this whole hamstring thing, don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. You okay? He's going to play when they play on Sunday, and that's what you got. So now, let's talk about the 49ers, all right? We got the Niners coming up. Niners got a big win, division win last week against Seattle, coming off a short week after taking a bad L against Arizona. But they did get a nice victory there. High-scoring game. I think the Niners, again, their Achilles heel has been and has been this for years. And we got a Niner fan on here with Briggs. So, Briggs, if you're still on here, chime in if you will. The back end of your defense in terms of your quarterback, I mean, not your quarterback, I'm sorry, your defensive backs that's where the weak link is. I still think there's issues in the secondary. It is a must-win for you guys this week, Briggs. Don, if you're listening or when you watch the replay, it is a must-win. But you got a rematch with the world champs, and you're playing against Patrick Mahomes. Now, okay, I think the Chiefs are going to win this game, all right? But nevertheless, it's okay. Trash DBs for sure. Definitely trash DBs. Don wouldn't agree. Of course, Don thinks there's nothing wrong with the Niners. He just feels like they are just so perfect and pristine that there are no deficiencies at all with his team from top to bottom, of course, but he's a little delusional. That's what delusional fans will do. He sounds like a delusional Cowboy fan, like how we say we're going to the Super Bowl every year. Don't worry, I'm going to get on the Cowboys. Oh, yeah, I'm representing my old throwback Emmitt Smith. I was going to put on my CD Lamb, but I said, nah, I'm going to go old school. And you know what? I'm just going to remember the glory days because that's all we've pretty much got because there ain't nothing in the near future coming for the Cowboys. But I digress. I'll get to them later. Back to the Niners. This is a must-win. You're playing against Patrick Mahomes. It's a rematch of the Super Bowl. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't think the Niners will win this game. I don't have them winning this game here. But again, it's an out of conference game. So if they lose this game, it's not bad. For the Niners, it's about getting to the playoffs. But I'm gonna be honest with you once again, okay? And y'all know me. I'm very, very fair, very practical in my takes and in my fandom. I still think the Niners are the team to beat in the NFC. I don't care what the Vikings are doing. They're 5-0, but it's Sam Darnold. Yes, he's playing well, but he's still Sam Darnold. And so now he's playing up to the potential as a number 1 draft pick, but I still don't think he's the guy. And I don't know if he's going to really take the Vikings all the way. They're starting off great, but we've seen this story before in Minnesota. They start off great, and then they would start to slide and fall. Of course, it's a different quarterback now, different coaching. Of course, there's not the same Vikings of recent memory. But again, they still have a lot to prove. I still think the 49ers are the team to beat. Too many key injuries for us early in the season. I agree, Briggs. Definitely a lot of key injuries there. I don't know. Is Greenlaw even back yet? I don't know if he's even back yet from being when he was injured in the Super Bowl. I don't know. I could be wrong. You correct me if I'm wrong on that, Briggs. I appreciate that if you can help me with that. But the truth is that the Niners are still a team to beat in the NFC. I don't care, right? They, were NFC conference champions. They went into the Super Bowl, and again, they lost. And I mean, for me, this is what I say. And me and Briggs, we've had this conversation before. This season is all about Kyle Shanahan. That's it. It's all about Kyle Shanahan. You're right. Say no Greenlaw yet, but as Briggs is already on point, right on time, Super Bowl win or bust. That's it. That's what it comes down for the Niners. Their bar is set so high, no one even cares about what's happening in the regular season. And right now, granted, as to Briggs' point, all of the injuries y'all got, no CMC, you had a game out with Debo, Trent Williams, you guys got hurt. Ayuk still is not in regular season form yet. He still kind of reminds me of CD a little bit. They didn't have training camp. So, they're still trying to, get into their rhythm and their footing and so forth with their quarterback. But at the end of the day, right, I still think for the Niners, the bar is set for them to win a Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan, you need to win a Super Bowl. Now, Kyle Shanahan doesn't win a Super Bowl. There are some Niner fans that are saying that he needs to be fired, okay? Now, I know that's a lot to ask for, okay? I think it's a bit aggressive. I think that's a little too much, okay? And I'll tell you what, they fire Kyle Shanahan before the ink dries from the owner who signs off those papers to fire him. Before that ink even dries, Shanahan would already have another job, okay? In fact, he'll probably have an offer from teams like Jacksonville, okay, the Eagles, not the Cowboys, because he's not going to come to the Cowboys, and I'll explain why that won't happen, because Jerry would never allow that to be, right? Because if we win a Super Bowl, Kyle will get all the accolades, and Jerry can't have that. So, that's not going to happen. But Kyle would definitely get another job easily somewhere else if that was to happen, if the Niners come up short as far as the Super Bowl. And it all depends on how they win and lose. Again, and Briggs, you can give me your thoughts on this since you're the only one here rock with me so far. You know what I'm saying? We lose another Super Bowl, then Kyle's and this is Briggs. He's a diehard fan. And I've known Briggs all my life. He's been a 49er fan. We go back. I mean, I remember Briggs being a fan since the 80s, okay? Early 80s. All right, late 70s even, okay? So, he lived through the Joe Montana days and the 4 Super Bowls and the 4 Super Bowls in the 80s. So Briggs has lived through it. He knows. He's a fan. He's saying Kyle got to go. I don't know. I don't know if D would agree with that. And I don't know if I agree with that either, but I will say there's a lot to be looked at in terms of his legacy, okay? He came up short as the OC in Atlanta, and that Super Bowl is on him for trying to run the ball. I mean, for trying to pass the ball rather instead of running the ball, and so that's on him. And then coming up short twice in 2 Super Bowls. He's fallen short, and both the Kansas City. All right, came up short in the NFC Championship game against the Rams. Now, he has gotten his team there. He takes them far. It's a standard now in San Fran that you get to at least the NFC Championship game, if not the Super Bowl. But you got to win at some point. Now, I will say this. They lost to Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes didn't even play good in that first Super Bowl, by the way. But at the end of the day, you lost to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Nobody's going to fault you for losing to Patrick Mahomes, okay? We all lose to Patrick Mahomes. Everybody loses to Patrick Mahomes. It's Patrick Mahomes and the rest of the NFL. So it doesn't matter. That's okay. No one's going to fault you for that. But if you're the Niners, you got to be able to do it. And I'll say this last thing while I got the show to myself, okay? So I'm going to put this out there. I do think that Brock Purdy is going to get the bag, the real bag. Donald thinks they're only going to pay him about maybe $17 an hour. because they feel like any little raise they give him based on his Mr. Irrelevant draft status and maybe only barely making a couple $100,000 a year or whatever he's making. Donald thinks that, you just give him a couple of the new chicken Big Macs at McDonald's and that'll supplement his salary and he'll be fine. That ain't happening. Brock Purdy was effective last year, was in an MVP running, and if it wasn't for him, the Niners would have lost to Detroit. He single-handedly put that team on his back, okay, with those drives and did I thought, a superb job. Did what Dak would never be able to do in those situations when it comes to the playoffs, and he didn't play bad in the Super Bowl either. So I feel like with him, and again, Dak is the highest paid quarterback, but that's not going to last long because, listen, Josh Allen's got another contract coming up, and so does Mahomes. So, that's going to be completely eradicated unless they just want to take a pay cut to make their teams better, which, most winning quarterbacks will do. Okay. But at the end of the day, we know that they're worth more than $60 million. If Dak is getting $60 million and then they're definitely worth more than that. Okay. But the truth of the matter is that, and I'll get to Dak in a minute because I'm not poo-pooing on Dak, but I'm just trying to give you in context that you have some better quarterbacks who have gone further and had more success in the NFL by way of playoff success, and they're going to get paid more. So Brock Purdy is going to be in that discussion. If Purdy gets this team to an NFC championship, into a Super Bowl, he is going to get the bag. Trust me. Now, if he has a mediocre season where he's not really the true cause of why they kind of get far or whatever, then maybe, the Niners can use that as a negotiation ploy or tactic. But at the end of the day, Purdy is balling, and he's going to do well, and I think he's going to end up getting the bag. So, yeah, he's going to get the bag, Briggs. No doubt about it. He's getting the bag. So trust me. And D doesn't think that's going to happen, but trust me, he's going to get the bag. So the Niners, they got the Chiefs. They got the rematch coming in. I thought that Devante would have gone to the Chiefs. I thought they would have pulled the plug and maybe try to find a way to get him. There's reports that they were trying to pull him and get him in there. But again, Patrick Mahomes is a guy who can elevate his team. Yes, it's good to have caliber receivers. Not having Rice there, they lost some guys. Pacheco's hurt, so they lost some guys. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be another struggling season, I think, for Kansas City. But that's what we said last year. We said their guys couldn't catch balls. They were dropping everything. They had no receiving core. And what happened? They went back-to-back Super Bowls. Okay, they don't won 2 Super Bowls since they let Tyreek Hill go. So the truth of the matter is that great players elevate their teams, and that's what Mahomes is going to do. I do like the Chiefs in this game, and I just think that because right now they're playing better, and the Niners are hurt. They're really hurt. So I don't know if they'll, be able to overcome these injuries against a really good Kansas City team. All right, so that's what we have there. The Philadelphia Feebles. Now, again, Scrap is my man. If Scrap was here right now, he'll have the whole costume on, doing a whole, like he's like Martin. He's got all these different outfits and stuff and come in and, and imitating people and stuff like that. Scrap on the low key, Scrap is a comedian. No doubt about it. Like straight up. If I'm ever like struggling financially, I'm going to call Scrap. Scrap, can we get on the road? I like to manage you. I need to make some money. You can make some money. Let's just do some stand-up comedy and let's make it happen. Because the dude is funny. You know what I'm saying? He's good people too. That's the boy Scrap. Good plug in from Don. They go back, from their work days in New York. And so Scrap is on the show. And Scrap has been nothing but a blessing to the show. We appreciate it. But he's the Eagle fan. So, it is what it is. And so, Nick Siriani, yelling at people and the fans and Philly and like, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? And they talked to you about this already. The front office had conversations with you about the stupid, erratic things that you do that are nonsensical. Like, what coach sits there and argues with the fans? Who does that? You're a head coach. Your back should be to the fans, not talking to them. Your team is on the field and you're talking to the fans. That makes no sense to me. As the head coach, okay, I can see a player doing that, okay, but not the head coach, all right? And then what he does in the post-game interview, no disrespect to his children, not ever, going to disparage his family because we don't play that on our show. We don't disparage the children and the kids and get into, personal issues and stuff like that. So I'm not knocking the kids. But it was a weak move to bring your kids up there because that the media is not going to give you some hard questions with your kids sitting on your lap in a post-game interview. Okay, so Shout out to the PR people of Philadelphia. They basically said, look, okay, because what you did out there was just idiotic. So take your kids, bring them out there with you, and that'll soften the blow. Okay. But of course, Philly fans, they see right through that, right? Because Philly fans don't play. They keep it a buck. If they hate you, they hate you. They're going to call you out. They don't care. All right. That's just what it is. It don't matter what you've done for them, how well you played. It doesn't matter. You mess up with them and you fussing with them too, oh, you're going to get the business. And why were they fussing with them? Because you barely beat a bad 1-4 Browns team, or 1-5 now, I think they are. That's bad. The Browns are horrible. Deshaun Watson has digressed to pretty much nothing, okay? Nothing. I mean, he is completely gone. And I'm going to be honest with you. Let me just plug this right in here, okay? I'm just going to say this. Everybody knows I'm a man of faith. I'm just going to say this real quick. I'm praying for Deshaun Watson. I really think that there's some internal things and mental things that are going on with him that are resultant of what has happened to him, the choices he made, which were clearly poor choices, ill-advised choices, some abominable things that he has done. And as a result of that, I think it has affected him. I don't know what's going on with him. I'm personally praying for him, okay? Honestly. But whatever's going on with him has translated onto the field. And he has not looked like he's not even a scintilla of what he was when he was in Houston. Not even a scintilla, not a glimpse, not even a small piece of a flicker of light of what he was when he was in Houston. He looks bad, really does. So, and the Eagles barely won. Now, again, A.J. Brown came back. Great. Looks good. Devante Smith is healthy. So the receivers are back. They're looking good, okay? And I mean, it was good to have those guys back, because if they weren't there, they definitely still wouldn't. They wouldn't have beaten Cleveland. And Cleveland is hurt right now. Now, when I say hurt, in other words, I just think mentally their defense is worn. The offense can't do anything. They've always had a good defense. Their back end is good with Ward and those guys. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Myles Garrett, one of the greatest to do it on the line. But there's only so much you can do, right? They're looking like the Jets of last year, like good defense, but can't score points. And after a while, defense is like, yo, whatever. Go ahead, y'all score, because it's not even worth stopping y'all. What's the sense of getting y'all off the field on 3 and out? Why? We're going to be right back out of here again. We might not even leave the field. Keep us on in the punt unit, because at the end of the day, they're going to end up giving the ball back anyhow. So, it's that bad for them. But nevertheless, the Eagles, not an impressive win, right? But the Eagles kind of do that, right? They last year they had a lot of awkward wins. Even they had that they were up there 10 wins, and then of course they lost the last 40 in a row last year with that epic, abominable slide that they had where they just fell off a cliff and no one knew where they landed. It was just abysmal for them, right? But nevertheless, that's the Eagles, right? And they get those tough wins, gritty wins. Of course, Eagle fans will say that's how we do. We grind it out. But at the same time, I think the Eagle fans at the same time are saying, look, man, it wasn't good. Okay. We should have beaten the brakes off this team. Okay. At home at that. And that didn't happen. And you had your stars back as well. And that didn't happen. Okay. So at the end of the day, the Eagles, they are who they are. And but they're in the race for the NFC East, which is up for grabs as far as I'm concerned. Even the New Jersey Giants. I mean, that could still go either way. We don't know what, they're probably the worst of the 4 teams in the NFC East, but on any given day, right? They can sure enough beat Dallas. That's for sure, even though we beat them already. But even our win against them wasn't impressive. We only beat them by what? What was it? 4 points, 3 points? It was a one-score game. It wasn't a great victory for us even against the Giants. But the Giants, nevertheless, they'll be around, because again, the NFC East, I think the Eagles and Cowboys have slid a little bit. Giants are still who they are, and obviously the Washington Commanders are now the team that everybody's looking at. They're balling. Yes, they are, Briggs. They're balling. They are balling. And Jaden Daniels, that dude is the truth. I mean, that kid. Look, for those that don't know, I'm not a college football guy. I don't watch college football. I got enough to do in my life on Saturday to sit down and watch, Alabama beat up Murray Bertram High School. Like, I don't have time for that. Like, I'm not sitting there watching, I don't know, CDC University play, Georgia. It's just like, I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. Like, there's only but maybe 2 to 3 competitive games throughout the whole year in college sports. I got no time for that. I'm not going to watch that. Okay. So I didn't ever seen Jaden Daniels play. I didn't even know where he came from, and to have a sports show, I probably shouldn't say that. Sorry, Don. Sorry, Scrap. If Don was here, he'll probably give you more context, because Don is more of our, stat guy and everything like that. He remembers the names and he's got all that down pat. I'm just gonna give you the overview because, like I said tonight, and my Yankees, I think, are still up 3-0. I think so. We're gonna get ready to watch that too. I gotta, make sure that that's all on point. But at the end of the day, it's 3-2. So the Cleveland's coming back. All right, I got to get ready to watch this game. I got to see my Yankees. But here's the thing, guys. Okay. As it relates to Jaden Daniels, he's balling. Now, the defense for Washington is bad. But Quinn will get it fixed when he gets his guys in there. Remember, they had a fire sale. They let go of their whole front four. Okay, so they don't have anybody really there anymore. They was stout up front for the last few years. They had a fire sale. They wanted to rebuild, which they're doing. And here we are. Daniels is the truth. That kid is going to be nice. Good arm, can throw out the pocket, can run. Like, there's no weakness in his game. I mean, he's slight in body frame. So, I mean, they got to be a little careful because getting those hits, he's not like a Lamar or Vic or Cam Newton. Those guys are a little bigger. They can take some hit, or Josh Allen. Those are bigger quarterbacks, but, he's a little slight. So they got to be a little careful with him. But nevertheless, that boy is balling. Washington is the truth. Dallas will definitely lose both games to them this year, without a shadow of a doubt. Even with a bad defense that Washington has, because Dallas can't run the ball. But nevertheless, I hate the Commanders. I hate the Jets. I mean, the Giants, and I hate the Feebles. I hate them all. But, I do give credit where credit's due because I'm fair-minded, okay? Now, we're going to close this show out with the Dallas Cowboys. We heard the interview with Jerry Jones today at 105.3 The Fan. Shout out to Sean and RJ in the morning show. Jerry comes on every Tuesday. I think he also comes there on Friday as well. And every week he had an interview. And if you haven't heard the interview, unfortunately, I don't have all the bells and whistles here today. Just go on YouTube, put Jerry Jones interview with 105.3 The Fan, and it'll come up. And Jerry was livid today, okay? Threatening to fire the interviewer on the radio show, which was Sean from the Sean and RJ show. He was livid about the questions. He didn't like the tough questions he was getting about, going into the season with no running game, not having the ability to stop the run. You didn't sign anyone. You made no real significant move. And he really was upset because they didn't bring up all the good stuff that he's done. Okay. And Jerry, for some reason, believes that signing CD and Dak was what was going to make the difference. And he said today that's going all in by signing CD and signing Dak. Well, sorry, Jerry, but any real football fans and Cowboy fans know that meant nothing. Okay. You could have been signed them because you was going to need to sign them anyway. Why? Because you put yourself in that situation. You delay contracts, as you often do. And that's why you end up having to either overpay or pay, and it hurts your cap. You did it with Zeke. You delayed contracts with Dak. And now I had to get, and it's the third time you have to give Dak the bag. Not to mention the 2 franchise tags you gave Dak. So Dak has made close to almost what feels like almost at least $300 to $400 million already. It feels like, okay, but not that much, but he's made a lot of money. The truth of the matter is, Jerry Jones, is that, and here's the thing, and I want y'all to hear me good on this, okay? Yeah, we don't care, Briggs. New Yorkers, we don't do college football because what do we have? Rutgers, Syracuse, and Syracuse is more of a basketball team. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Donovan McNabb played up there in Syracuse. Had a couple players that did well in the NFL, but that's not what they do. And we don't do that. We're a basketball city, number one, and we just don't watch college football. We have concrete. We didn't have grass out here in the South, so that's why they love football. And high school football is big down here, which I've learned since moving here. And that's just what they do in the South. So it's all regional. It's the climate. It's the culture. That's what they do. In New York, we didn't watch college football. There was nothing in there. It was either the NFL or the NBA or college basketball. We watched a lot of college basketball, but we didn't do college football because it just wasn't a market for that. There's no teams up there in the Northeast. So anyway, the problem with the Dallas Cowboys is that the Dallas Cowboys are not a football team. I'll say it again. The Dallas Cowboys are not a football team. And I'll explain what that means in a minute because I want to first tell you what they are. The Dallas Cowboys is a money-making economy. The Dallas Cowboys are technically their own industry. And when I say that, I'm not saying it in a braggadocious way. I'm actually saying that in a very denigrating way. I'm saying that in a way that is not favorable to the Cowboys. The Cowboys are their own economy, okay? There is no richer franchise than the Dallas Cowboys. There is no team more talked about than the Dallas Cowboys. There is no team that has a more of a international fan base than the Dallas Cowboys. And the Dallas Cowboys are their own economy and their own industry, even outside of the NFL. So what we have here, and why am I saying that? I'm saying that because we are not about football. Football is like the third, fourth, fifth thing down the line when it comes to the Joneses. They don't care about football. Football means nothing to them. Football is just something that they were able to buy. Jerry Jones made money in the oil business, paid $189 million, bought a team that was losing $1 million a month, by the way, okay, when he bought the team. So the team was putrid, horribly financed, and in a bad position monetarily. Jerry took an opportunity, got a lot of advice from his mentor, the late Al Davis, and he learned how to market and build an industry. He was the first one to license companies, went against the NFL. Tagliabue didn't like that when he did that. He got in trouble for that. A lot of stuff that also got Al Davis in trouble. Jerry didn't care because Jerry knew it was all about the money. And eventually, other owners were going to get on board. So Jerry took a team, marketed the team, built the team, hired Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson was over football. Jerry was over business. Then, of course, Jimmy wins 2 straight Super Bowls after taking a team from 1-15, and then within 5 years, they're 2-time back-to-back defending Super Bowl champions. Jerry doesn't like it. He doesn't get the accolades because nobody saw what he did in terms of building and marketing the Dallas Cowboys. People are concerned about the product on the field because that's what we do. We watch football. We want to see football. We want to see plays. We want to see athletes. We want to see our stars perform, and we want to win. We don't care about how you build or want to get a stadium or how you change your marketing strategies and got contracts and was able to renovate your suites and to bring in more money and to learn how to license your stadium and to bring in concerts. Nobody cared about that because football fans don't want that. Football fans want a football team, not an industry, not a self-made economy. It's not what they want. San Francisco is a football team. Yeah, the Niners have a football team. The Steelers, they have a football team. The Kansas City Chiefs, that's the football team. Football team. That's called football. Those are organizations that care about football. Why? Because these are teams that are advanced and progressive in their schemes and the coaches that they hire and the cultures that they build. And that's what they do because they are all about football, not the Dallas Cowboys. No, not the Dallas Cowboys. See, we are still archaic and obsolete in how we run our team because why? It's not the number one priority. It's business first, not football. So what do? You hire guys who are kind of past their time. Like even when you hired Bill Parcells, you did it because you needed to get the stadium built. So you hired somebody with some cachet. But even Bill was beyond his time at that time. Okay, got us a 1 playoff game, and that was it. And nothing more, nothing less, and less happened out of that. And then you hired guys like Wade Phillips, and you got Jason Garrett, and you had him for 10 long years of mediocrity with Jason Garrett. Jerry Jones is the president and the GM and the owner. So therefore, the GM, the owner, and the president all make decisions. What do you think we should do today, President? Well, I think GM, what we should do today, I think we could go ahead and sign Zeke. I think he'll be good for us this year in the backfield. No problem. Hey, president, what do you think the GM should do about the defensive line? We're not as stout up in the middle like we should. We were one of the worst teams against the run last year. Oh, don't worry about it. Mozzie Smith, our number 1 draft pick from 2 years ago. I think we can improve him and we can get him going. That won't be a problem. Okay, because I really think he's a bust, but you're right. I agree with you. Okay, Jerry. No problem, Jerry. And then he goes on and says, hey, what should we do about the defense? We don't have Dan Quinn anymore. I mean, Dan Quinn, kept us at least in the top 5 of defenses the whole time while he was there for the 3 years. But you know what? We don't have him anymore. He's gone on to bigger and better things in Washington. Hey, Jerry, what do you think we should do about our defense? Well, Jerry, I think we should hire a guy who's kind of past his time with some old defensive schemes and somebody who was once on our team. In fact, he was under Jimmy Johnson. Remember, he was part of our Super Bowl victories back in the early 90s. How about we get Mike Zimmer? It's been a long time. Why don't we just bring him back? Yeah, I think Mike will be really good against teams that have a more progressive offense, like motion offense and different type of run schemes, and they do a lot of trick plays, like Bob Johnson from Detroit and Kyle Shanahan and McVay and LaFleur. Yeah, you know what? I think Mike Zimmer will be a great counter to those great Wonder Boy minds that they have. I agree, Jerry. Yes, I agree. Good job, Jerry. Good job, Jerry. And that's what you get. Because you know why? It's not about football. Mike McCarthy, archaic, old. We have no identity. We can't run plays. We have no creativity. If you put Turpin in San Francisco, he would shine. You put him in Green Bay, he would shine. Put him in Miami, he would shine. Why? Because you got creativity there. Put those guys in some things. CeeDee Lamb, did you know Cowboys are dead last in receiver separation? Dak is number 1 in the league against tight throws. Why? Because his receivers can't get separation. Can't get separation. So we don't know how to scheme anybody open. Receivers you never even heard of are open, wide open down the field on other teams. Guys who are nowhere close as good as CeeDee Lamb, but guys can't get open. You don't know how to scheme anybody open because we don't have that ingenuity and creativity. Why? Because we're an industry. We're an economy. We don't care about scheming guys open. We don't care about having a formidable running game. You came into the season deliberately with Zeke Elliott as your number 1 RB1. Zeke Elliott. How? How do you do that? Derrick Henry said out of his mouth, I would love to play in Dallas. I hope they give me a call. I hope they call my agent. Why? Because I live in Dallas. I work out in Dallas, and I would love to play for the Cowboys. You think Jerry called him? No, Jerry said we couldn't afford him. Wow. Couldn't afford him. But Jerry said we're all in because we're not a football team. We are an economy. That's what we are. Look, I got to go. I've been on here 42 minutes. I didn't even mean to be on here as long as I have. I got to go watch my Yankees. They're up by 1 run, and I'm getting a little nervous. So this is why you see what you see. Jerry didn't sign CD and didn't sign Dak until the 9th hour. Why? Because it kept us in the headlines. Because had he signed them early, then what were we going to talk about during the offseason? So Jerry has to keep it going. It's all about publicity and money and the economy of the Cowboys. And as fans, we're tired of it. I don't even care anymore. Am I a Cowboy fan? Sure, because I was a Cowboy fan before Jerry. And Jerry will never make me not be a Cowboy fan anymore. I'm not going to unfandom my Cowboy love. Not going to do it. But am I going to have these expectations? No, I'm not. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to casually watch the game. If I miss a couple games this year, so what? I'm sure enough not going to a game. Not going to do it. Not supporting them. No way. Trash. Because they don't care. And when you look at the Cowboys for the next, and this is how I'm going to close. I'm going to close right here. I'm going to close right here, guys. Okay. When you look at the Cowboys, you look at our schedule. Okay. We got the Niners. That's an L. So we're going to go 3-4. We got the Falcons. That's an L. Falcons are playing pretty good. They're 4-2. Okay. They're playing pretty good. Oh yeah. They're playing good. All right. And so we're going to lose to them. Right. So that's an L. We're going to lose to the Eagles. That's an L. We're going to definitely lose to the Texans. That's an L. They're 5-1. Commanders, we just talked about them. That's another L. Giants might get a win there. Depends on which Daniel Jones you get that day, right? But but could lose that game, right? But let's just say we'll get that win. We're going to lose to the Bengals because by that time they have turned it around. Trust me, we'll lose to the Bengals. Panthers, we'll beat the Panthers. Buccaneers, we're losing to. The Eagles, we're going to lose to again. And we're going to lose to the Commanders one more time to wrap up the season. So over these next 10, 11 games, we might get 1 to 2 victories. And that's it. And it's over. So anyway, Brooklyn Biz and Ball Sports Show. We love you guys. Please like, subscribe, share. Okay. Shout out to my boy Briggs for jumping on tonight. Appreciate you, bro. I know you're busy. You're out and about doing your thing, working hard. Love you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Always 10 toes down, man. That's my brother. Appreciate you, man. 49er fan and all, but that's still my brother. Shout out to Don and Scrap, who couldn't be here tonight. I had to do a show. It's been a while since I've done one. But we'll be back on Saturday. This Saturday, we'll talk about the games coming up again, and we'll get it in one more time. So listen, peace out to everyone. Love you all. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Love you. God bless.